Good evening. It is a privilege to be here in this wonderful forum. Under President Xi Jinping, the Chinese Communist Party has resolved to strengthen its grip on power, take center stage in the world, and make good on Xi's pledge to lead the development of new rules and a new international order sympathetic to Chinese interests. The Chinese Communist Party is not only strengthening an internal system that stifles human freedom and extends its authoritarian control, it is exporting that model and undermining the liberal international order. I ask that at the conclusion of tonight's debate that you answer tonight's resolution: does China threaten the liberal international order? In the affirmative. The Chinese Communist Party poses a threat not only to the Chinese people, but also to the rest of the world. First, let's consider the liberal international order and why we might want to preserve it. The liberal order is not an exclusively North American, European, or Western. Its key components are representative government, the rule of law, freedom of speech and freedom of the press, the right to privacy and freedom of religion, and free market economies that allow those who are entrepreneurial, work hard, and contribute to society to build better lives for themselves and their families and their communities. I believe that Canadians care about our liberal order because, as a model democracy and a founding member of that order in the wake of two disastrous world wars, Canadians know that liberalism is not only an ideology, but also a system that protects their rights in Canada's mosaic society. The free world's approach to China for the past 3 decades was predicated on the assumption that China would not threaten our liberal international order. China, we believed, would inevitably converge with the West, liberalize its economy, and ultimately liberalize its political system. To accelerate that transformation, we welcomed China into our order, opened our markets, invested our capital, trained Chinese engineers, scientists, and even officers of the People's Liberation Army. But as happens sometimes in life, we were disappointed. We underestimated the strength of the party in resisting reform, and we underestimated the role that ideology plays in driving the policies of the party. Xi has reinvigorated ideology to an extent not seen since Mao's Cultural Revolution, which killed tens of millions of Chinese. Chairman Xi is purging the party to strengthen his control. He punished 1.5 million officials, over 3 times the total federal public service of Canada. Xi implemented mandatory study sessions and even apps on Xi Jinping thought. The party is harnessing new technologies to shut out alternative sources of information while creating a surveillance police state more intrusive than Big Brothers in George Orwell's novel 1984. Ethnic and religious minorities are subject to the worst forms of oppression. In Xinjiang, 1.5 to as many as 3 million people are in concentration camps, undergoing a campaign of brainwashing designed to erase their religious and cultural identity. Construction of new camps is underway. The party raids universities. Student activists disappear, only to reappear months later on confession videos. Hundreds of lawyers, legal assistants, and professors have been detained. Books on rule of law are removed from university shelves and destroyed. Censorship of all media and communications is the party's obsession. There are no alternative perspectives to counter the party's steady diet of propaganda, much of it anti-Western and anti-Canadian, and anti-liberal international order. The party combined anti-communist or anti-U.S. and Canadian propaganda with hostage-taking after the legal detainment of a Chinese company executive for charges of bank fraud in the United States. China has expanded its propaganda efforts overseas. Those efforts recently exposed in studies in Australia, New Zealand, and the United States shape popular opinion in ways that support China's goals. Chinese students overseas are under surveillance and unable to engage in the free exchange of ideas, essential to higher education. The United Front even creates fake organizations that then fake the Prime Minister's signature on fake documents. The party wants to mute criticism of its most egregious aggression, such as its attempt to own the South China Sea. To do business in China, the party demands that our companies and their employees support China's foreign policy on Tibet, Taiwan, and other issues. To obscure facts such as how China, while feigning commitment to reducing greenhouse emissions, is poisoning the global environment and using